I had to choose between whether I'm going to be executed on Thursday or know that I'm going to spend the rest of my days in prison and die an old man, old and broken, I would rather die in prison.
Serial killers have been documented for many decades now, from the late 1800s infamous H.H. Holmes to the new ones that are currently being arrested today. But you will not believe what some of these serial killers' famous last words were. Make sure you watch right until the end to hear what the infamous Ted Bundy's famous last words were. You really wouldn't expect it to be this. If you want to help us grow, then please hit the like button and subscribe with notifications on if you love all things horror. We love watching this channel grow and sharing with you all the latest horror stories. So for now, let's get into the famous last words from well-known serial killers. Jeffrey Dahmer, aka the Milwaukee Cannibal, was an American serial killer that would murder and dismember his victims. He would often keep their heads and body parts in his fridge for a few months at a time. Jeffrey Dahmer was beaten to death by an inmate at the prison he was kept in. Just after the inmate threatened him, he explained, "I don't care if I live or die. Go ahead and kill me." George Engel was one of the men involved in the Haymarket bombing in Chicago, 1887. He chillingly told officials before he was hung, "Hooray for anarchy. This is one of the happiest moments of my life." Aileen Wuornos was one of the most infamous female serial killers in the world. In the late 1900s, she wreaked havoc and murdered 7 men. She was finally caught and sentenced to death by lethal injection. Before she passed away, she said, "I'd like to say that I'm sailing with the Rock and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus June 6th. Like the movie, big mothership and all, I'll be back." However, when we look at one of the more enthusiastic last words, the number one spot has to go to Gary Gilmore, who famously said, "Let's do it." He was put to death after committing murder. One thing that's interesting to know is that Gary saying "let's do it" was apparently the inspiration for Nike's logo slogan. How very strange. How's this for a headline? French fries? These witty last words were said by the serial killer James French. Get it? Because of the French fry comment. He was executed by electric chair on August 10th, 1966, but at least he went out with a good sense of humour. Francis Two Gun Crawley was a 19-year-old mobster who went on a crime-killing spree in the early 1900s. Once he was arrested after a large shootout, he was put on trial. Just before being put to death by the electric chair, he shockingly said, "You sons of b***, give my love to mother." One of the more famous serial killers named John Wayne Gacy, aka the Killer Clown. He was accused of murdering at least 33 young men and boys in between the times of 1972 and 1978. He went out with the same attitude he lived by. He explained to the executioners, before dying of lethal injection, "Kiss my." Peter Curtin was a German serial killer who assaulted and killed at least 9 individuals between 1913 and 1929. Once arrested, Curtin explained that he was compelled to kill as a result of the sadistic satisfaction he received from looking at blood. His compulsion even went as far as him beginning to drink the victim's blood, therefore earning him the name, the Vampire of Dusseldorf. He was beheaded by guillotine in 1931. But what were his final words? Well, to put it honestly, they were just as chilling as his lifestyle. His final words were, "Tell me after my head has been chopped off, I will still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from the stump of my neck. That would be the pleasure to end all pleasures." Jeez, and I thought Edward Cullen was weird. Ted Bundy was known to have murdered 30 women, but some say it was as many as 100. His confirmed killings went on within the dates of 1974 and 1978, and the whole of America followed his action in court after he was arrested. His final day, reports claimed that he spent his cell in tears as well as praying. But what did the most infamous serial killer of all time say in his final words? At 7 a.m. January 24th, he was tied to the electric chair and said the following words as his last: "I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends. who'd have thought it'd have said something actually quite sweet? Not me. Speaking of family and friends, if you like the video, then make sure to share the video to all of your family and friends. I read all the comments, so make sure to say what you'd like to see next in our video. Until next time, horror lovers, peace.